Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Gregoire, Governor of the great state of Washington. I want to thank you for coming to our state today on this very important issue. And I'd like, if I could, to begin by saying, while you see some wonderful people who are very concerned about this issue, had we been able to have more advance notice, we would have packed this room. We would have packed this room. It would have been standing room only. It would have been Washingtonians. It would have been folks from Oregon. It would have been folks from Idaho. So please, I don't want you to think that this is the interest. In fact, the interest is wide, it is deep, through all of the Pacific Northwest in our states. Today, I urge you to take a broad interest view of the issues that you are considering. These regulatory decisions are not solely matters for business. I fervently believe the airways are public property. And owners who use them have a strong obligation to the rest of us to maintain that use in the public interest. You last looked at this issue in 2002, and I wrote you then as Attorney General for our state with my deep concerns about the FCC's efforts to accelerate the already rapid trend toward consolidation in the media. Those concerns are no less on my mind today, and in fact are heightened. As governor, I continue to be opposed to further concentration of media ownership through consolidation of the media. Such concentrations stifle creativity. They stifle content. It narrows perspectives available to each of us as citizens, and it is clearly unhealthy in a society that rests on principles of equality and diversity. I find it ironic that in an age with so many new ways for people to communicate and so many ways to exercise the literal beauty of democracy, we face the very real threat that those new ways will be controlled by but a few. Since 1995, there are 40% fewer TV station owners due to consolidation. 3 media companies own all of our cable news networks, and 2 companies serve 40% of households getting cable television. Just 1 company now owns nearly 1,200 radio stations across the country. And before 1996, no company could own more than 40 stations nationwide. And I'm not just talking about newspapers and TV stations and radio stations. Ownership of what we can hear, view, and say is concentrating in key choke points, such as the internet content and phone transmissions. Literally, a handful of companies now dominate the top internet news sites. We need competition, not concentration. We need diversity. We need vitality. We need local perspectives. Democracy depends on a thriving marketplace of ideas. It depends on a healthy a menu of political discourse, culture, and the arts. Do we really want to concentrate control of this market and place it in the hands of a few? I can tell you, I don't, and I do not believe my fellow Washingtonians do either. What happens if a single owner doesn't like what is being said on television or through the newspaper or through the internet? Will this individual engage in censorship? That is the problem. The possibility of censorship makes people lose confidence that their voices will be heard. We already have a problem with distrust in far too many of our major institutions in this country. We do not need media added to the list simply because of consolidation. If our means of communication is controlled by but a few, what's to stop them from blocking our artists, our musicians, our grassroots political organizations, and others from the doorway needed to reach these audiences? Literally, how will the next great author get published? How will the next great band be able to leave a garage in West Seattle for a worldwide audience? How will photos or video documenting injustice be seen widely enough to spark a response? I must say to you, this is not just a problem in reality, it is a problem in perception as well. Both are a problem. Concentration of media ownership in all its evolving forms is a real problem for the people of the state of Washington. It's a problem for me, it's a problem for all of us who live in the Pacific Northwest and across this great nation, who live and work in creative, expressive, innovative communities from Spokane, Washington to Seattle, from Vancouver, Washington to Bellingham. I ask you, please, ensure that our citizens have access to all of the sources of information and perspectives so that our democracy can